Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Halftime with Bizzy. We rocking some of the new halftime merch that is soon coming out. It's not quite ready yet, but it will be on the way, so keep an eye out for that. Etsy shop is linked in the description. You can go get yourself a poster in the meantime. Anyways, today we have Tapewaare, the IGL of Copenhagen Wolves, joining us today. Shout out to Jared, who we previously had on the podcast. He was able to reach out to his team and inquire to see if anybody wanted to join the podcast, and Tapewaare said that he was more than willing to do so. So I am very thrilled to have him on today. He is also the first professional player we have had on the podcast, so this is a feather in the cap for myself, and I'm very excited to bring this one to you guys today. Today we talk about the beginnings of Tapeware's career, and we go through his career history so far and what plans he has for the team. And he seems very well put together. He's got a really good head on his shoulders, and I'm just super thrilled to have him on. And it was an absolute pleasure getting to speak to the first pro player in Halftime podcast history. I'm not going to ramble, but I hope you guys enjoy the episode, and we will catch you on the outro. Thanks for everybody for checking in.
Hello.
Hey man, how's it going?
It's going all right. A bit sad that we lose to fucking noobs, but
Yeah, I saw that, dude. It was well played, though, man. It was well played.
it's kind of rough. We play so fucking many officials, so it's kind of rough to keep the energy always.
Yeah, I guess it's just important when you have downtime to just kind of reset and just go back to the drawing board, I guess. But wish you guys the best of luck in the future. I know you guys will come out on top.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Before we get started with this, thank you for wanting to do this in such a short amount of time, like with Jared being the middleman to kind of connect this and make this all happen. I appreciate it. This is the first time I've had like a pro player on the podcast, so this is a pretty big thing for me personally, and I appreciate you wanting to do it.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, let's get started with your roots. Could you talk to me briefly about yourself and what it was that initially got you playing Counter-Strike once upon a time?
I started playing Counter-Strike when I was like 12 years old, and my mom didn't allow me to play the game because it was like shooting and everything like that, blood and everything.
No way.
So I didn't. So I didn't. I wasn't allowed to play. So I was starting to play from my best friend's PC, and then afterwards I started playing CS at my home without having permission to play, But I was just playing in like and hiding it, And after like 1 year, my mom said, "Okay, now you're old enough. Now you can play Counter-Strike." So then I started playing, and ever since then I have been just grinding a lot. Always been like feeling that Counter-Strike is a game I like, and like always like grinding hard.
Yeah, for sure. And let's talk about what a turnaround from being not able to play it to being on a pro team. I mean, Jesus, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's wild,
Yep.
dude.
Yeah, after the years went, I saw that I had more and more potential. Was grinding a lot of Face It, and like I always had like people I was looking up to, and always like making them like people I were looking up to. Like I was always like stretching myself to them, So I always were pushing myself. So the time when I got like spotted in Norway, and I played versus 777 a few times in the first division Norway. Like I did put up some good results with 777 when I played in Bitfix, and we always like played close to the best team in Norway and stuff like that with Bitfix. So then I got picked up to Apex Rebels after a short period of time playing in Bitfix, and then I went to Apex Rebels, and then we kind of like jumped right into it with getting into WePlay. We started playing WePlay without any practice, so it was kind of rough with having 5 Norwegians and 0 practice versus good teams, but we grinded our way kind of out of it.
That's amazing, dude. So when you were 12 years old is when you started playing. I'm assuming you probably treated this as like, you get home from school, it's just something to play, something to do. When you got into Counter-Strike and you started playing it, did you ever have the vision like when you got involved with it? Like, oh, I could take this somewhere one day, or was this strictly just kind of like, a pastime hobby of yours?
Yeah, it was kind of just a hobby. Like I am not gifted in any way, I would say. Like I'm not gifted mechanically, I'm not gifted in like any sort of way. So all the work I have put in is like made me the made me the level I have today. So when I started playing, like I was always good for my age, in terms of that I always had high rank. I was like global on matchmaking, where when my IRL friends was like silver elite master and sitting and trolling in matchmaking. So I kind of never played with my IRL friends because they have always like been too bad for my level. Like I'm a fast learner, so I've been like I have been learning fast always. So I always ended up playing with like people that were like 10 years older than me and stuff like that when I was playing matchmaking and stuff like that back in the days.
Wow, that's super cool, man.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you at some point, but we kind of touched base a little bit on it already. But I wanted to ask you who inspired you from such a young age to right now. Who were some of your biggest inspirations in the scene?
Like I have always like been looking up to Rain because he's Norwegian, of course.
Yes,
He have been like one of my like the one of the guys I've been looking up to, like since he is carrying the Norwegian flag, you know.
for sure.
Uh, but like I feel like I have been like taking it step by step because I feel like I had people as my front pictures for a while, and then I'm getting to a certain level where I feel okay. Uh, Maybe I play versus them, or maybe I have them on my team in Face It or something like that, you know. And then I see, okay, they were actually not that good, you know. So then I like, then I feel that I have like reached like better level, and then I'm going to like next person, if you know what I mean.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So when you started playing at 12, let's fast forward a little bit. When exactly was it that you began your semi-professional career, and how did this all transpire?
I was playing from I was 12, and then I didn't like take it very serious. I was playing like some like League of Legends, some CS, some Minecraft, like everyone else is doing, kind of that on that age, you know. But like after that, I played CS like just on the side, and I played a lot of PUBG. And I played PUBG in second division in Norway for a short period of time. I was very young and very inexperienced, but PUBG actually learned me a lot of like good things around a team environment. And then I played first division in Norway, and I was in some different teams in PUBG as well. And then after that, I saw no future in PUBG because it feels like it's almost like a very dead esport game. Like there is some level or like there is some professional level on PUBG, but I didn't feel it was like something I would put my life into, if you know what I mean. Like
Sure, sure.
then yeah, and then I like looked at CS and I see big fan base and like everything, and then I felt like CS is the correct way for me to go. So then I started hard grinding Face It. I took my steps up and up and up, and I think I was like level 7 Face It or something. And then like one day it just clicked for me. I was level 7 Face It. I grinded my way up to level 9 Face It, level 10, and then I just kept on going like that. So basically, like my start of my career was just grinding a lot of Face It and getting the individual level up.
That's awesome, man. And to hear the crossover, like when you were saying that you learned a lot of team type of play with PUBG, that's like really cool to hear. Like you don't hear that bridge from PUBG to Counter-Strike often, but when you think about it, like that really does teach you a lot about playing as a team, especially on such a big map. Like Counter-Strike is not even comparable map-wise, but that's really cool. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
So
And if
after,
I
I'm sorry.
like if I would pick again, I would for sure pick the way I picked. But like when I'm looking back at it and how much fun I had when I played PUBG, because it's like so random and like it's a lot of different scenarios, and I feel like of course this is a lot of different scenarios and many things you are going to get challenged on. But I just feel like PUBG is so much more unique, and it happens so much many different things like that you have to react out of.
Yeah, there's a lot
So
of unexpected things that happen in that for sure.
Yeah, like you have the zone in PUBG, like it's unpredictable every round, you know?
Yep.
It makes the game very challenging.
You could be out in the middle of nowhere and get sniped. You have no idea where the person's coming from or where they're at. Like it's a very very team heavy game for sure, and very unique
Yep,
in that way of the being random and stuff like that. Every game kind of plays out a little differently.
yep.
So after a while, when you started leveling up and you started grinding Face It hard, you ended up playing for a few teams, which Apex Rebels is what you just referred to, which was your most recent team before Copenhagen Wolves.
Yep.
How was the transition from playing high level Face It to getting put on a rather big team?
Yeah, like I feel like I have been I was on Metisport and there it was like we're playing First Division Norway on a very low level, but like every guy I've played with have every time or like in all teams I've been, all the people have like learned me something, you know. Always that there is something one guy can like learn you, like you haven't seen it in this way before or something like that. So in Metisport I was playing for a very short period of time. I was stand-in in first division because one player couldn't play out the season.
Okay.
So I got taken into Metisport, like as a standing for out the season. I did pretty well. People saw that I were shooting good and everything like that. And after that, I went to Bitfix and played very good in Bitfix. And like I was playing with Youngster that are playing for Sangan now. Me and him were like the two guys that were the fragging boys in Bitfix.
Okay.
And after that, the youngster got picked up to Metisport, and I went to Apex Rebels on that time.
Wow.
Yep.
So like skill wise, like how would you compare like high level Face It to being in the pro scene? Like is that a huge step or
It's like two different worlds. Like you can be
okay?
a good you can be a good face it player because you are good at doing solo things and get carried out because you are shooting good and maybe not doing the smartest decisions. And when you're coming to a team game, you have to set up your teammates. You have to get set up. Like you have to ask for the correct utility. It's like all other like it's almost two different games, you know, because it's so two different worlds like in terms of that you have to do everything around the team. You know, you cannot like just say I will go here and then you do this or something like that. You can like of course, sometimes it's good to wing random things to be a bit unpredictable when you're playing versus teams, and we are for sure doing that to Copenhagen Wolves. Like sometimes we are doing like a face it play, and then one guy is running and doing the face it play, killing two people, and then boom, then we have the round, you know.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
like so, you have to have a good mix in it, and some teams are like playing very structured CS. Some teams are playing very default heavy and just playing around with each other. You know, like they are very good at supporting each other, good at reacting, and playing that kind of default CS. Like most of the teams are doing in the top now. Like if you see at Navi, they are probably the best team in the world to like play default CS.
Yes.
Uh, b- and what makes them so strong with those defaults is that people can never anti-strat their defaults because they are making the defaults looking different all the time, and they always trying to make people go and do mistakes in their default. Like they are inviting the enemy to go and make mistakes in their default.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Navi's really good at. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of happy to see someone else winning a tournament. I've seen enough Navi trophy lifts in this year, so it's nice to see
It,
G2 won today. But they're
it was fun.
Navi's definitely like you can't deny them. They're really good at what they do, and their team is really dialed in. But let's change over to this year. Of course, as of May 23rd, you've signed officially to Copenhagen Wolves, which are currently the IGL for the team. This team was once a home to many well-established names such as Pimp, Kerrigan, Cadian, Kagerby, Glive. I mean, the list just goes on forever. Do you feel a certain type of pressure when you join a server and when you're playing on this team due to its really incredible history with Counter Strike?
I for sure feel very proud to being able to represent Copenhagen Wolves. Like they have a big history of the team the players you just mentioned that have been on the team before. But I feel like it's a very long time ago, so I don't have any I don't feel like any pressure on my shoulders for that. But it's like it's very cool to see like Jaken played on Copenhagen Wolves back in 2014, and now another Norwegian is back on Copenhagen Wolves. It's like it's funny to have those kind of link ups with the history. I think also like Rubino or something was on Copenhagen Wolves at some time. So it's like a bit fun to see that other Norwegians also have been on Copenhagen Wolves like before me.
Yeah, you're like almost carrying the torch for them in a way. You know, you're carrying it from them and leading it on. You know, the different regions. You know, Copenhagen Wolves is just a very important team when it comes to Counter Strike as a whole.
Yep, for sure.
So, what would you say your experience with the Copenhagen Wolves has been like so far? Have you been achieving everything that you've wanted to with yourself and your individual career as well as your teammates?
Like overall, the experience with Copenhagen Wolves as a organization is like the best I ever been in. They are treating all of the players very well, and they are trying to have this family environment in the team. And I feel that they're doing that in a very good way. Like we have our CEO Jared, that is like very supportive. I'm talking with him every day, and he's like writing me messages. How is it going? And like they are trying to be very supportive and really trying to get that family environment to work well, and that I feel works as well. Like there is many clubs on the paper that saying like, yeah, we are family environment and we're gonna try to, or like we're gonna have the family environment, but on the it's like just only on the paper, you know. But actually in Copenhagen Wolves it's working. So I got a bit like shocked when it was working that well as this do now.
Yeah, and that's a very important thing too to treat it. I think me and Jared touched on this when I had him on the podcast as well. He comes across to me as a type of guy that's he's very supportive and very you know, teamwork oriented, and he's for the team. He's not just, you know, some big wig guy kicking his feet up and, you know, collecting a paycheck. Like he truly wants to see the Copenhagen Wolves strive. And I think the family oriented style to have toward a team, I mean, I think it just brings everything together really well. And I think that's a very important part of being on a team, especially being in a professional spotlight as well.
Yeah, for sure. When we come to like the achievements we have had, like we have beaten some very good teams, like Nine Pandas, Zero Tenacity, and like today we beat into the breach. So we are beating a lot of good teams. Our biggest issue now, what is gonna make us get the achievement like the achievements we want to, is that we just need like practice together and get people on the same page. Because right now we are a bit inconsistent because that we have gotten like we have two scrims together totally like in this lineup we are playing now. So
Mm-hmm.
we have almost like nothing practice, you know. Two scrims is
Okay.
like nothing. So that is like our biggest issue now, and that is also like making us not achieve like everything we want yet, because like room is not built in one day. You have to like build the way up and take it step by step, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, to already have the idea of like, okay, this is where we're lacking and we need to pick up on it, I feel like that's probably one of the harder parts because if you didn't know where you guys were lacking, then I feel like it could take a lot of wind out of your sail trying to figure that out and then, you know, having upcoming matches and stuff. So I think that's like the biggest step out of the way. And then, you know, you just capitalize on it from there and figure it all out. So that's super good to hear. So tell me what the energy is like going into a match. What do you guys have to prepare for, and what is your mindset as a team besides the obvious of winning?
Like when we are going into a match, we never underestimate anyone. I'm going into the match with the same amount of preparation as I would do if I play versus some no-namers, or like not no-namers, but like people that are not known and like maybe they have bad rating on HL TV. I don't give a shit about that. I'm giving all the teams we are playing versus the same respect and preparing as much as everyone we're playing versus. Like our mindset into games is always that we are gonna try our, like everyone is gonna be the best version of themselves in terms of communication, in terms of building your teammate up, in terms of shooting good, like eat before the game, have good energy, true to the all best of three. Like we put a lot of focus onto those points that are important, and like trying to help each other out. Like let's say one game I'm having 1 kill and 11 deaths, then Era can come out and like say, "Let's go, Tapewaare, you are fucking insane," or something like that. Like we always try to build each other up and try to hype each other up whenever we do something good.
Yeah, and I imagine that's super important too in a really good situation or a really bad situation. You know, you always want to keep the energy levels high to make sure that you guys are still locked in as a team. And with CS, like, it's you always have to expect the unexpected. So to hear you guys always treating every game the same is super important, I imagine too, because look at FaZe and Liquid not long ago. It was 12-1. FaZe brought it back and took it to OT and won an OT and bumped them out of the tournament. So like, there's always things like that in Counter Strike. So it's very important to treat everything the same. Not high prioritize one match over another because it could happen with anybody.
Yep.
So this next question, if it's not confidential, like I'm not trying to get you to say too much because I know you guys have a lot of teams have practices that they don't want people knowing and stuff, and I'm not trying to overstep your boundaries, so we don't have to talk about it if it is confidential. But I was wondering if you could talk about how you guys look at wins and losses and what you guys do post match to effectively plan for your next game.
Okay, so
If you can
like
talk on it.
yeah, we can touch on it. So like whenever if we win or lose, it doesn't matter because we are still gonna review the game and see our mistakes and fix our mistakes because there is always mistakes that have to get fixed, you know. So if you win or lose, we are reviewing the same way and the same like in depth, like we are like doing it the same way, like every time if it's win or lose. And like post match, then we always have a game plan, like pretty much every other team have. We have a game plan where we have pistol and some tells on the enemy and everything like that, you know.
Okay. So there's a lot of homework that goes into it when you're going into a match and when you're leaving a match.
Yeah, it is. Like I have as a IGL, I have like a few things that I like expect from my players. That's like my expectations for everyone on the team, and that is like let's say for officials, my some of my expectations is that be the best version of yourself when you're coming into the game, and always rewatch your demos like from the past games you have played and be prepared for the next day. You know.
Yeah, for sure, especially if you're playing let's say you've played a team recently and you're rematching against them. I would imagine that's really important to know what they did in previous rounds or previous matches rather, that you can apply different strategies to counter their plays and stuff like that.
Yep. And also look at what they did to counter you, so you can like. So then you can have a plan of okay, they did this to counter me. I'm not gonna do the same mistake again, and I'm gonna counter them instead. You know.
Okay. There's a lot of mental like mind games going on in the server.
Yeah, probably not too like much on our tier of CS, but like in the like it depends on what team you're playing because some coaches and some IGLs we're playing versus them they are doing it like that, but some players are like more in their own head and trying to focus on themselves and like they don't care so much about what the enemies are doing, you know. They are trying to play on their own strengths.
Okay, I gotcha. So, what are your goals for the rest of your career? It's still very early in your career, so I'm assuming you're looking at your career in a long term aspect. Do you have any plans so far on what you want for yourself or out of the Copenhagen Wolves for the future?
Uh, like goals for rest of my career would be play a major. Uh, and I always like try to set goals for myself to like have something every time to like strive for, like something I'm hungry for, you know. So I have the motivation to like work really hard for it. And like if we, it's a bit personal, but I will share it. It's like I have been struggling a bit with my individual level. So I have been like talking with what's it called, like performance coach, and he have helped me a lot with like understanding a lot of important points. And like always when you share some things with people that are professional, like a mental coach or performance coach, they always give you like their view of it, and then you can like learn a lot from what they have to say about it, you know. So the last maybe like month or something, I have been like doing a lot of those things and talking with that coach, and he have been helping me a lot with that. So now I can like see the progress for myself. My individual skill is going up. Like I'm playing a lot of depth match. I'm playing the game a lot. Like I always done that, but before it like haven't worked for me that well. So when I got that help I needed now, I feel like it's going up for me.
That's awesome, man, and there's no shame in that, especially when you have the results. You're seeing the improvement and stuff like that. There's nothing ever wrong with going and getting some help from somebody or something like that. I feel like, there's a lot of weird negative stigma towards it, and I don't really understand that. Everyone needs help in life, and it's a matter of applying yourself in any way you might need. If you need to go see a coach or something like that, there's no shame in that, man.
Yep.
So, what would you say overall as a whole? What would be some of the biggest pros and cons with a career such as yours?
Okay, so to start with like a bit negative things with my career is that I feel like I have never like gotten into a team uh, where everything is like I don't know how to say it in a good way, but like if you look at year one, they have pretty many lineups where they have been playing like maybe 1 year together or something. Like they get a lot of time together, and I never felt like I have gotten the opportunity to play with the same four people for a very long period of time to like make something very good and make something very consistent. So that's like one a bit negative thing I had in my career, that it have been a lot of player swaps and not being able to like have a team that you feel 1000% comfortable in. But other than that, like my biggest things in my career is that like I'm always being able to like when things is rough or hard for me and when it looks the darkest, I always manage somehow to get off the darkness and get back on the ground, like back into the, like let's say after Big Troubles closed down, I didn't really think that I would get any offer or like get anything good again. I felt a bit like empty. And then when I got contacted and I got the offer, like then I was like back again, then I'm out of the darkness again. So like I never like give up when I'm in my darkest place, or how you want to see it, and I always like step out of the mud and coming harder back. And now after I joined Copenhagen Wolves, I have been taking big steps individually and also as a IGL. Like we have been beating pretty good teams, and sometimes I'm giving myself some credit because the anti-strat I'm doing on the teams like that are like Nine Pandas or whatever, like I can see that it's working. So it's very fun and giving me a lot of more motivation, to keep going when I see those things are working.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And I could only imagine how much stress, especially at a professional level, like, like just playing Premier or like probably high level Face It, that can be stressful sometimes. But playing it on a professional level, like that's probably very stressful. So to hear that you're able to get out of that kind of mental space and overcome that and overall improve that's probably feels like $1,000,000 right there. So that's hats off to you for that. That's really important.
Thank you. It feels good to like see that things are working, and it gives you also more motivation to like grind harder. It
Yeah,
always give you
absolutely.
give you the boost to keep going.
Yeah, and no matter what team you play on, if you've made it this far in your career, there's always the next step. Like you can with the team, you can always achieve more, you know what I mean? You guys yeah, everyone has their matches they win, and people have the, like, look at FaZe for instance. FaZe was killing it for so long. Now you watch them and they have really good games or they have really bad games, but eventually people level out and figure something out and they achieve that next step. And I think that you can definitely do that. And I think the Copenhagen Wolves could definitely do that. Keep that positive mindset, man. It'll definitely keep taking you far.
Yeah, I think so as well.
So this was very cool opportunity. And thank you once again. I appreciate your time. That's pretty much all I had to ask you today. I like to typically leave the outro of the episodes up to the guests. So if there's anything at all that you'd like to share with the listeners, anything at all, the floor is yours, and you can feel free to talk about anything you'd like.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me to this podcast. I really appreciate that. It's very fun for me to being able to share some things from like my experience, so maybe I can help other people as well. And if any one of the listeners have any questions or want to ask me anything, just feel free to write to me on Twitter or like anywhere. You can always type to me, and I will try to help you out. If you have anything in your career or something you want to ask, and if there is something I can help with, I will for sure help you.
All right, everybody, that was the Tapewaare episode. Thank you all for coming and watching and supporting. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate all the love and support on almost every single podcast that comes out, whether it be on Twitter or whether it's on the YouTube comments. Like, you guys, I love you guys, man. You guys are awesome. I'd like to give a special shout out to Tapewaare, Jared Habib, the CEO of Copenhagen Wolves, and the entire Copenhagen Wolves roster as a whole. I got a lot of respect for them. They've been having a bit of a tough time lately, but as you heard Tapewaare say, these guys are in the right mindset, and I think it's only a matter of time before you see an incline on their performance. Everybody has upsets in their career, and that doesn't mean that it's over. It's far from over. So much love and respect to Tapewaare. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to everybody that supports the podcast. We are signing out. We will catch you guys next Friday. Till next time, everybody.